Hey guys, it's Nick, and I just saw the news that Nikola Motors just got rid of Trevor Milton. He stepped down as executive chairman. They got this guy Gursky coming in who is from Vector IQ, the company that brought them in on the reverse merger to do the IPO. So they're bringing somebody over from that company, and supposedly he has some experience in GM for a couple of years and things like that. So what is going on with Nikola, and what does this mean? What are they admitting here? And oddly enough, the biggest bankruptcy in U.S. history, Enron, happened like 20 years ago, like 2001, and that was kind of the poster boy for kind of the market crash. Is Nikola the poster boy for this bubble pop that we're having now in tech? I don't know, but let me just say that what's going to happen with Nikola? What are they doing here? What are they thinking? So if you look at the news, you'll see that the SEC is investigating them. The Department of Justice added on to that. And all these law firms are now, suing them. And, that always happens when a stock price goes down or there's allegations of fraud. All these law firms come out and sue them and try to get some pennies on the dollar for their shareholders or whatever. That's not a big deal. But the DOJ and the SEC, in my mind, that's definitely not good. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But, where were these guys before they went IPO, before they started making all these proclamations of all these things they're going to do? It's kind of like closing the barn door after all the horses have gone and all the people are already invested. So it seems what they're trying to do here is kind of limit their worst case scenario. And so they're like, look, okay, this guy Trevor Milton is poison. He's going to bring the whole company down. Our only chance here is to completely separate him from the company, get him out of here. I'm sure they pressured him to resign, and in the hopes that they could save something from Nikola. So they get some new guy in there, and he's the adult in the room, and they're going to go ahead with the deals with GM and stuff like that. But this is really bad, and so there's a lot of big money invested in this, and you also have GM's name to it. You have the CEO of GM, Barra. She's looking really bad. So a lot of people here are doing damage control, and so this is probably the first step. And so, they're like, all right, we got rid of him, and no more lies, no more BS. We got this deal with GM. It's going to go ahead. I'm sure you're going to see they're going to hire some more, big name engineers or something like that, or try to do a few more deals to try to completely get rid of Trevor Milton's name from the company and try to move forward and hope that they don't get bogged down by the SEC and Department of Justice and more revelations of, fraud and BS coming out from this. And let me just say that recently I read the Hindenburg report. I read the whole thing, and man, I should have read it before I did this video on Nikola, because there is so much more BS and stuff. It's like a pattern of shady dealings and lies and exaggerations and just making stuff up and then just turning around and saying we're not doing that. Like the whole thing with the trucks, saying that they had gas turbines, and then they went and bought turbines from somebody else, and they said they were doing it. They said that the gas was going to be free for the truck, for the life of the truck lease, and so you would pay no fuel, and they would pay it, and they had gas, natural gas wells and stuff like that. And then when they were pressed on that, they said we have no gas wells. They said then they pivoted to the whole hydrogen fuel cell thing, and that they're going to produce hydrogen something like 80% cheaper than the current going rate, and that they were going to do that by efficiency in their hydrogen stations or something like that. As if, that's like saying I'm gonna reduce the price of gas gasoline at the pump by 80% because the gas stations that I build are going to be very efficient and they're all going to be of one design or something like that. You're not saving 80% like that. And so when he was pressed on that, they also asked him, okay, how much hydrogen have you actually produced so far? Because at first he said he was producing hydrogen, and he said, how much have you produced? And he said, 0. So it's just so much stuff that they just keep putting out these things saying they're doing this, they're doing that, and then in reality they're not doing any of it, and they're buying it from other people. So they're just a marketing company that's taking other people's technology and putting it together and just hyping it up for the stock. I mean, that's basically the bottom line of this thing. And one funny thing is I was watching a YouTube video on Trevor Milton showing off the Nikola One to some car reporter. I forgot what her name was, and they're in the cab of the Nikola One, and he's showing her the display and stuff like that, and she didn't even ask him if this truck was a pusher, meaning it doesn't really run of its own, power. But it's like he was so guilty that he kept saying it. He goes, this truck is not a pusher. And she's like, I don't even know what that is. I didn't even ask you. And he's like, this is not a pusher like some of the other trucks you see at car shows and stuff like that. A pusher is a car that doesn't go on its own power. This is definitely not a pusher, and this and that. It's like, he protests a little bit too much. So that was a definite tell right there, and that was a few years ago. So there's just so much BS in this company.
Some of the people have found out about us over the last 4 or 5 months as we announced some of the lead up to this big event, but it took years and years to get here. This isn't just a pusher like a lot of vehicles that they unveil are just vehicles that don't actually function. There's a fully functioning vehicle, which is really incredible. You can go through, we can change out pretty much everything we want, all the temperatures. I mean, this is a fully functioning vehicle. It's not just a pusher. That's what they call in the automotive world a vehicle that they just push and it doesn't move.
But with them getting rid of him, they're doing damage control. They're going to try to go forward. They'll probably, like I said, either get some more big names in automotive in there, big names in engineering, or do some big deals or something like that. And in the hopes that, we've been basically BSing and kind of a fraud all the way up to this level, but we got rid of that guy, and now we're going to continue on as a real company. Watch out, Tesla, we're right behind you, and GM's doing big things with us, and blah blah blah. This stock to me is poison, and I think it's just, I'm not going to say buy it, I'm not going to say sell it, or sell it if you already have it, but man, I would not want to be in this stock. And it just seems like they're just doing so much damage control, and maybe they're just hoping that the big guys can get out and sell their stock before more bad news drops on this thing. So my advice, stay away from it. It's just really bad news, and I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor Milton has some kind of civil criminal charges for all his blatant lies and misrepresentations to investors on his company and what it can do and what it can't do. So that's my video on what's going on with Nikola. Stay away from it. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.